Happy St. Patrick's Day. Now it's time for the WSAV Savannah St. Patty's Day Pre-Parade Show, sponsored by Zero's Hard Beverages. Stay tuned, there's a lot more to come, and you have the best seat in the house.
Good morning, I'm Ben Senger.
And I'm Kim Gusby, and you're right, we do have the best seat in the house, Mr. Announcer.
So nice.
So nice.
We got a drone up for you this year. We're going to show off this town.
Listen, when the drone's in the zone, leave it alone. As you can see, Lafayette Square is packed with people, but it's only going to get greener and better.
It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be amazing.
We cannot wait to bring you all this. And, you know, we promise you, we know we have a lot of locals watching us. We hope we have some guests watching us today. You think you know St. Patrick's Day in Savannah, but you know, we really did a deep dive this year so we could tell people all the factoids now that we're at this 200th anniversary, and you're going to learn things you didn't know before.
And you know, that people often ask what my favorite part of the parade is, and that is it, learning something new each year. And this year we will not be disappointed because we have two experts. Dr. Howard Keeley will be joining us later on today, and also Lindy Brandon. Everybody knows Lindy. Lindy knows everything about everything and all things Irish here in Savannah. So we have live coverage ahead of today's kickoff in just about an hour-ish.
Yeah,
right?
about an hour,
okay. WSAV's Patty Turner and Alexis King are standing by waiting to bring you some of our pre-parade coverage, and they will stay with us throughout the day until the very end, which is what, a couple of hours from now? Several hours from now?
Several hours from now. It's going to be a big group this year for sure. It is. Okay, now because this is such a big anniversary, it was important, you know, for the parade committee to tell the story of how it all began. So we want to tell you that now there is a place in Savannah where that history is on display for all to see.
That's right, and we are going to see that right now.
It's a modern-day gathering centered around a historic occasion.
So to see everybody around and the excitement, it's nice that it's finally here.
A new marker tells the story of the first St. Patrick's Day parade in Savannah.
Because this is not something that'll be here for a week or two. This is going to be here forever.
A permanent tribute at the place where it all started.
That very first parade ended right about here off of Montgomery Street, but this is all that's left of what was Liberty Square. This area was also home to the very first Catholic house of worship.
In 1824, the Hibernian Society of Savannah, an organization made up of Irish Protestants, invited the Catholic Bishop John England of Charleston to speak at St. John the Baptist Church on St. Patrick's Day.
It was a rousing speech. It got everybody excited.
Those inspiring words spoken by Bishop England are now on display for all to see. May the example of Savannah be widely influential. Here, men who differ in religion may meet as friends and brethren. The acrimony of the bigot is not permitted to destroy the harmony of society. And to pay tribute to those legendary remarks, the parade committee hosted this commemorative walk to retrace the steps of the Hibernians who planned that original gathering. On that first journey, they walked from the City Hotel on Bay Street to the church on Liberty Square and back again. And they invited the public to take part. That marks the beginning of what has grown to be Savannah's most enduring tradition.
Everybody should learn from the way that Savannah reacted back then and came together.
Neither the hotel, nor the church, nor the square can be found today, but you will see people of all persuasions marching alongside a familiar flag. 200 years and counting.
When you think about St. Patrick's Day, it's really a lot more than just the Irish in our blood. It's an event that the whole city embraces, that the whole city celebrates, and everybody wants to be Irish that day and believes they are. So it really, no matter what, we can all celebrate, you know, what we've done the last 200 years.
And so there's a point of clarification we want to make after that, too. You know, they're saying it's the 200th anniversary of the first parade, not the 200th parade, because as we know, it was canceled for COVID. They paused for the Irish Revolution, for the Civil War even, for the world wars that we had in the 40s. So it was like, I don't know what the exact number is. And then there were some unofficial gatherings even before the public was invited to attend. So it's really just
before it
fascinating.
became official.
Right.
And I like what you said in your piece, that you said that it is an event for all persuasions. And that is exactly right. On this day, everyone is Irish. We get to enjoy, we get to learn more about the culture, we get to learn more about the traditions here in Savannah.
Right. It is just amazing. I mean, it was, and to be an inclusive event back at that time was really a significant development. So there's something going on right now that we want to take a live picture of in the Cathedral Basilica of St. John the Baptist. That's right across the street from us here in Lafayette Square. The Mass is wrapping up. This starts at 8 o'clock every parade day. It's a treasured tradition for a lot of families. And now they are making their way back to their respective places. Maybe it's in the parade, maybe it's in the square somewhere, and they're going to enjoy the rest of the festivities today.
Because that's about an hour long, and so they
Yes.
trickle out, and we see people coming out, and as you said, claim their space here. Lafayette Square is getting more crowded by the second, and you know, we're going to check in with WSAV's Patty Turner because she is live on the street, and we'll check in with her a little bit later, and she's going to talk to some folks for us.
Okay.
But we want to talk about some of the events that happened before today, because as you know, this goes on way before the parade even starts.
Can you imagine being a committee member? I mean, your job starts like 3 months ago, going to all these things. We do want to show you a video of this, though. Hundreds of people coming together at the cathedral last Sunday. This is for the annual Celtic Cross Mass service, one of the most cherished holiday events here, which honors the Christian faith and Irish descendants. So after the Mass, this year's Grand Marshal, his aides, several others marched down to Emmett Park there near the river for a wreath-laying ceremony. We spoke to John Fogarty, the general chairman of the St. Patrick's Day Parade Committee, and he says the Celtic Cross Mass is special when compared to the other festivities.
We want to always push the history, the faith, the tradition, what we do. We start every parade with the Mass. The party that happens is a celebration. This is a day to celebrate. It's to celebrate, St. Patrick himself and our heritage and how we got here.
So that event in particular has been going on for about 40 years, which is a long time, but not when you compare it to the fact that this is the 200th anniversary of the parade.
No, not at all. Yeah. So it's kind of new-ish.
Right?
So you know what? We forgot to mention at the top of the show that we all are Irish today.
Yes.
My name is Kim O'Gusby.
That's right.
Today. Oh, Kim O'Gusby Tucker.
I
Thank
like
you.
that.
Thank
Yes,
you.
yes.
I even have a green ring. Thank you.
Give him the credit for that, for sure.
And who are you?
Well, so I could actually go by Ben Keenan because that was my grandmother's maiden name. She was 100% Irish.
Wow.
So grew up in Wisconsin, and yeah, right. So,
learn something new every year.
I am a quarter.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
So, now we want to talk about the day. This is a big day for one very special person. I mean, it's big for everybody, but for this special person, it's tremendous. And we're talking about this year's Parade Grand Marshal. That is none other than John Forbes. Now, John Forbes has been involved with the parade committee for decades. He joined the St. Patrick's Day Parade Committee way back in 1986 and even served as its general chairman in 2007. And he's continuing a family legacy. His father, Jim, was the Grand Marshal back in 1998.
How nice.
Forbes tells us that as somebody who has experienced the parade since he was a very young boy, he's proud to see it still flourishing in its 200th year.
It's incredible that little old Savannah, Georgia, tucked on the east coast of the United States, puts on an event of this magnitude. And, Savannah's special for so many reasons. And for the Irish in Savannah, this is the most important reason to us.
Okay. And our Grand Marshal will be accompanied by his supportive and beautiful wife. Another tradition of St. Patrick's Day, Jennifer Forbes, was given her own sash during a Daughters of Ireland ceremony to wear while her and her husband lead the parade today.
Okay, we want you all to check this out. This is one of our favorites. The Budweiser Clydesdales are here. They are in the staging area right now. They have made their triumphant return to the Coastal Empire and Low Country. The horses have not appeared. Kim, I just didn't even believe this reading it, but they have not been back to Savannah since 2018.
Well, I remember that. I remember they took a brief break for a little while. I even remember a year where it rained so hard here in Lafayette Square that the whole corner was flooded and it was hard to get, the horses through.
Right. Well, so here's a fun fact about these gentle giants, and hopefully you've had a chance to see them as they've been around town this week. The horseshoes for the Clydesdales are around the size of a dinner plate.
Stop it.
And they can weigh more than 5 pounds, about 4 times the size of a standard horseshoe if you're, paying attention to those sorts of things.
And so you can't really throw that, right? But you know what I am going to throw to? I'm going to throw to this morning's forecast with Hannah Evans. And Hannah, the rain has been kept away, at least for now. Please tell us it will stay that way.
Now, your St. Pat's forecast from Storm Team 3. Sponsored by Soothing Touch Massage.
Yes, Kim, it does look like it's going to stay away for today. It's actually going to turn out to be a really nice day for the parade because it's going to stay warm as well. So we're looking at River Street right now. We are seeing a cloudy sky to start this morning. People already getting ready out on River Street, out on the squares. Great morning because we're at 65 degrees, so it's warm upon waking up. You definitely don't need your winter attire today because it is going to stay warm and muggy. Our highs this afternoon reached the low 80s, but we do look to stay dry. We'll continue to see those clouds decreasing throughout the day for even some peaks of sunshine later. So definitely grab something green and festive as you head out the door, and maybe grab those sunglasses as well. So here's our Viper radar. Dry conditions as we head into this morning. This is because this cold front has stalled right over us. So keep the rain away for today, and we'll continue to see some sun start to peek through. So all of us are in the 60s right now. Once again, 65 degrees in Savannah as we head to the start of parade. Temperatures look to be in the upper 60s, lower 70s, and then towards the rest of the afternoon, we'll continue to see those high temperatures reach mid to upper 70s, even low 80s possible. Now I'm going to send it back to you guys outside. You guys look like you're having fun out there.
Well, thank you, Hannah. Well, you know what? We have the luck of the Irish today because remember earlier in the week we were worried about a little rain coming through.
Yeah.
And now we couldn't have picked a more perfect day because we feel a slight breeze,
Yes.
right?
When it ended in time, you know what it reminds me of? If you go to Disney World really, really early, they've kind of like washed down the streets.
Yeah.
There's a little sheen on them.
Yeah. That's
Savannah
what
looked like Disney this morning.
That's what's happening right now. So we are getting closer and closer to the kickoff of the 200th anniversary of the very first parade, right? A fact check.
We're getting close.
So we're taking a deeper dive into why there is such a large Irish population here in our city. We'll have that for you when we come back. Stay with us.
Welcome back. You're watching the Zero Savannah St. Patty's Day pre-parade show on WSAV.
And top of the morning to you. Welcome back to WSAV's St. Patrick's Day special. Now, we all know that Savannah takes today very seriously. I mean, just take a look around.
Yes.
With preparations for the big day starting weeks and in some cases months ahead of time.
And you know what's cool about our celebration, because we are a smaller city when you compare to some of the other northern places that do this, like Philadelphia and Boston, and yet our program does actually rank higher in those cities, which it gives me pause to say that because people from Philly and Boston are proud and competitive.
Yeah,
but
they are. Yeah.
That is, quantifiable data, okay? This is a huge celebration. But have you ever wondered why? Well, WSAV's Alexis King is along the route for us this morning. She's going to join us now because she has the answers.
That's exactly right. Hi, guys. I hope you're having a good time up there. And Savannah is home to one of the biggest St. Patrick's Day celebrations in the country. And if you have ever wondered why, well, so did I. I dug in and I found out why we enjoy such a rich, robust Irish population here. So as we get ready for the parade, sit back, relax, and enjoy a wee bit of Celtic history. The story of Irish immigration to Georgia dates all the way back to our founding father. James Oglethorpe claimed Savannah, and he pitched his tent on Yamacraw Bluff. He was a British citizen, but his mother was from Ireland.
So I like to think that Oglethorpe, when he was a kid growing up in England, that he was getting Irish vibes from Mom.
In 1758, Georgia was still a British colony, and the Spanish in Florida were a viable threat. To keep them at bay, the city appointed Irishman Henry Ellis as a royal governor.
He came in as a Mr. Fix-It.
Ellis established Georgia's defense system, created a parish structure for county lines, and built a relationship with the Creek tribe of Native Americans.
He gained trust with them, and he laid the foundation for actually what is the next element of the Irish story in Savannah, Georgia.
Meanwhile, back home, the Irish Rebellion was looking a lot like the American Revolution. 1798 was the bloodiest year in Irish history. An organization emerged called the Society of the United Irishmen.
And it sought, by force of arms, to create an Irish Republic independent of Britain, based on the ideals of the American and the French revolutions, ideals of equality.
One of the members of that society was a man named Robert Emmet.
He was captured, he was executed, and he became, in a way, kind of the secular saint of the Irish, especially the Irish in Americas.
The rebellion became a catalyst for early Irish immigration, many settling in the Old Fort neighborhood of Savannah, and they named a nearby grassy area the Irish Green. Today, Emmett Park is the site of a monument to those early Irish settlers. The centerpiece, a Celtic cross carved from limestone from the west of Ireland.
The memory of 1798, the memory of the United Irish Movement, it really, when you think about it, that revolution happened just before a big number of Irish came into Savannah, Georgia. But more would come. By 1812, the Napoleonic War left Ireland in tatters. Prominent Presbyterians from the north and indigent Catholics from the south flocked to Savannah. Irish merchants who were already here created a benevolent organization to assist those incoming immigrants. They called themselves the Hibernian Society of Savannah. Its mission is to provide what its founding document calls a delicate charity to these poor Irish. They're Presbyterians, these incoming Irish are Catholics, it doesn't matter. Everybody is Irish. And that really is the spirit of that age. The Hibernian Society had good timing because back in Ireland, things were about to get even worse. Sort of from about 1817 through the early 1820s, Ireland was struck by two gigantic famines. Famine drove even more people out of Ireland. Meanwhile, here in Savannah, a fire burned down half the city and yellow fever killed 1/10 of our population. The promise of work brought many new Irish laborers to Georgia. So there was a real need to reconstruct a big chunk of Savannah. Then, between 1845 and 1849, another potato famine devastated Ireland. Over 1 million people emigrated, over 1 million people died. Many who fled came here. Shipping companies in County Wexford even began advertising migration to Georgia. And that's the single largest direct population to move from Ireland to Savannah. By the late 1800s, there was a new settlement of Irish immigrants located between Macon and Augusta. It was called Queensboro in what's now known as Jefferson County. Which ultimately was 15,000 acres of basically farmland on the Ogeechee River. They created a town, and they built a church, a Presbyterian church. And so there you go. You have a significant group of Irish on a significant amount of land just outside Savannah. After the Civil War, migration slowed to a standstill, but the early Irish settlers were here to stay. They made Savannah their home. They welcomed new life and their new neighbors. And to this day, the Irish welcome everyone to celebrate their heritage and their culture. Sort of openness. It's a welcome to be Irish. You know, we say everybody's Irish on St. Patrick's Day in Savannah, but if we look at the history of our city, you know, people really have been Irish, have been welcomed into Irishness for a very long time.
There we go. Okay, there we go. The mic's on.
That was such an informative package.
It's really interesting.
Alexis. And you know, I love the little halo. We talked about that this morning.
She brought that.
Nice touch.
She brought that today. Right. So, you know, and I just did this story this week. I interviewed members of the Strickland family who are opening a pub in City Market where Wild Wing used to be.
Oh, yeah.
The Wexford pub. And they did that because of the relationship between Wexford and Savannah, and there's going to be all these historical touches where people will really, it'll almost be like a dual-focus restaurant and a little bit of a museum as well.
And you know what? We can talk more about that when we actually cover the parade, because this year's color commentator, Dr.
Keeley,
yes, from Georgia Southern University, is an expert on that. And
I look forward to that.
The connection between Wexford and here in Savannah, we want to learn
more about that bond.
Yeah, we're going to take a deep dive.
In the meantime, you know, Savannah's a sea of green today, of course. So we are taking you to the annual greening of the fountain at Forsyth Park right after this. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Happy St. Patrick's Day from a beautiful Glendalough in County Wicklow.
Welcome back. You're watching the Zero Savannah St. Patty's Day pre-parade show on WSAV.
Welcome back, everybody. You're watching WSAV's live coverage from Lafayette Square of St. Patrick's Day in Savannah. Our special report this hour, we're diving into the history of this treasured event in our community. And of course, you know, the green isn't just here today. The greening of the city actually happens weeks in advance.
Listen, it happens weeks in advance, but a lot of people who have lived here for a very long time know the history behind it. The city is always looking for new ways, of course, to go green. In 1961, a little before I was born, I was not here.
Me too.
Just yet. Don't let the gray hair fool you. There was an attempt to dye the Savannah River green, like our friends, of course, in Chicago, but it didn't really work. Lindsey Brennan can tell us more about it when he comes up a little later. Perhaps the most well-known way, though, the city gets involved in the festivities now is the greening of the Forsyth Park Fountain. Now, the greening of the fountain is an annual tradition that has been going on for almost 40 years now. Some say it was the work of leprechauns that started the greening of the fountain.
I'm going with that one.
Are you going with that one?
Yeah.
But the real story goes that in the mid-1980s, an unknown group enthusiastic about the approaching parade attempted to dye the fountain water green. And that's when city officials got involved. They're like, okay, wait a minute, you can't do it, but we can,
do
right?
it, yes. Leave it to us.
Because they were fearing that the proper chemicals weren't being used. Now, we spoke to a self-proclaimed leprechaun hunter at this year's event. Take a listen.
Catching leprechaun.
Are you going to catch a leprechaun?
Yeah.
What is your method? I've been trying to catch one for a long time. How do you do it?
You use clear tape and put the marshmallows on the tape, and then you put tape in front of the marshmallows that's clear so he doesn't see the tape, and then it'll stick on the tape, and then he can't get away.
Okay, so clear tape and marshmallows. Now we got that.
Okay.
We want to show you our own greeting, too. At WSAV, we have our own ceremony,
Yes,
although it's much smaller. Our fountain is pretty. It's still a cherished tradition for us. Our own Ben Katko presided over the greening of our Taylor Square fountain. He was joined by some of our coworkers as well. Taylor Square is the outdoor space where members of our weather team present their forecasts.
And if you get a chance to go by, or if you're a guest at our studio, take a look at Taylor Square and take a look at the fountain, because it is beautiful and it has become a tradition.
And the sound is calming. You know, our business can be stressful. It's nice to hear some nice water sounds before you get in there.
So there are many events, of course, that lead up to Parade Day, including a special gathering to honor a Revolutionary War hero. And we're talking about the Jasper Green Ceremony, which is the only St. Patrick's Day ceremony specifically dedicated to military personnel and members of the St. Patrick's Day Committee. They say that that's what makes it one of the most important events of the entire season. The ceremony is named after Sergeant William Jasper, who lost his life during the siege of Savannah back in 1779. Sergeant Jasper is believed to be Irish and served as an inspiration to many Irish immigrants in Savannah in the pre-Civil War era. Now, this year's ceremony was extra special because of that. You know, when we remember them, didn't they erect a plaque downtown?
There's a lot of remembrances to him in that square, and it's really kind of evolved into a celebration of all our servicemen and women, you know, because he was really honored for his bravery. And I got to attend a brief part of it yesterday, and I've seen it over the last 7 or 8 years, and maybe every other year I get to go there. Huge crowd yesterday. I mean, just like everything else.
You mentioned the military. We're going to see a lot of members of the military in today's parade, but right now we're going to take a break.
Okay, we'll be right back with more of our St. Patrick's Day coverage coming up.
Welcome back. You're watching the Zero Savannah St. Patty's Day pre-parade show on WSAV.
And welcome back to WSAV's St. Patrick's Day special. We're about 30 minutes before the start of the parade, a little more than that. But before we get to anything else, we want to introduce to some and present to others the great, the man, the myth,
icon.
the legend,
in
the
person,
icon.
live in person.
Lindsey Brennan.
I'm really promoting the icon.
Oh, okay. I like
this is your icon era. It's his icon era. Yes,
Good to see you too, Benny. My gosh, so nice to be here with you.
Oh, it's so great having you here, because you're no stranger to Savannah or St. Patrick's Day. You sat behind this desk, us together, for many, many years.
Bunch of times. Boy, we had some wonderful days for parades too. And the one that keeps coming to mind, though, to me is always the one where it rains complained so much that I actually walked away.
Yes, you did.
I left.
He left. We were on top of the scaffolding. You remember that?
I think
and
it was
started blowing away.
I'm too wet. I gotta go.
Right before my heart surgery or something.
Yeah,
you know?
but I remember that day, and you left me hanging, Lindy. You left me hanging.
Who was there? It was Jamie King.
Jamie King was there.
Oh, that's cool.
You're right.
We're going to get into stories with Lindy in a moment. We want to show you this in the meantime here. So getting a prime spot to watch this parade from one of Savannah's historic squares is a very competitive event, even more so this year. So we're talking about what is known as the land grab. Last night, security guards and city marshals had to block off the squares around 10 o'clock. You saw during our shows in the early shows that there were people still milling about here, kind of waiting to get kicked out. They did. This morning at 6 o'clock, people braved the temperatures there, a little chilly, to make sure that they got the perfect parade viewing spot. You know, this is a mad dash. People set up tables and chairs and tents and lots of food and drinks, of course. And really, Lindy, this is something that people, I mean, they're staking out their claim. You know, the same families do the same spot every year, right?
Yes, and it's an amazing thing to watch. It doesn't seem like an idea that would work. You know, it seems like there would be violence involved. But this
sometimes there is
going on for 10 years or so now. I mean, and they make it work.
Yeah,
they make it work.
The difference throughout the years, though, before they didn't have any rules. Now you have to be out of the square at 10 o'clock the night before, and then they open the square back up at 6 a.m.
I think we needed some guardrails. You know?
We needed a little guidance with that, right?
Well, I've been walking around town all morning long, and let me tell you, there are a lot more guardrails this year.
Yes.
You saw that in the stories leading up to the parade. They are certainly, I believe, around all the squares. I didn't hit them all, but there are a lot of barricades, and you got to be on the other side of the barricade.
Yeah. Well, you know, thousands of people gather in downtown Savannah for the festivities, many traveling from all over the place.
That's right. On this 200th anniversary, a Savannah woman is attending her 60th St. Patrick's Day parade right here. News 3 Sarah Smith met her at the spot she and her family camped out at and do every single year.
Lisa McGalliard has many memories here in Lafayette Square. She's been coming here for 47 years to meet up with her family and friends ahead of the annual St. Patrick's Day Parade. But she's been attending it since she was a little girl. That makes 60 years worth of tradition that will continue for generations.
Family and friends, everybody's down here that we know. And we have a group of probably about 50 that we meet with every year. Same corner. I have been doing it since I was in college, so since about 1977. I've been meeting with them.
Lisa McGalliard will be posted up at the same spot in Lafayette Square with her loved ones for the 200th Savannah St. Patrick's Day Parade. She first watched it when she was a child. Her mother was a florist, so she and her siblings watched the parade together.
She was busy doing all the corsages and all the horse bows, and she was really busy with the parade. So we would sometimes come with our nanny, so down to the parade. But when Mom was off, then she would take us downtown. But it was downtown when we came.
Now she comes here to the square with her daughter, Sarah, and their family. They have never missed the parade, rain or shine, and they always make sure to pack the essentials and claim their spots the morning of.
We put up our tent. We have all kinds of food. We have beverages. And we usually come the night before and put our chairs on the side of the road. And then we also spend the night, but in the past couple of years, we've come at about 4 a.m. instead of coming at 8 p.m. the night before.
But they claimed their parking spot even earlier.
We actually, about 3 days before, we come park a car down here. And that's kind of our loading zone. So we'll make trips every night and drop stuff up and off in that car. So everything's ready for the day for the night before when we come down.
Lisa remembers a time when they didn't have to participate in the infamous land rush. For years, they posted up at the Hamilton Turner House, where her husband was a member of Phi Kappa Theta. But now they joined the chaos that morning.
For 20-something years.
That's so fun.
6 a.m. Everybody's waiting on the whistle, and someone will say, "Oh, I heard it," and everybody will start rushing, and they'll blow it and like, "Get back out of here," and then we do it again.
I'm usually the one
yeah,
while everybody else
but we have a strategy. You know, everybody has a pole with their rope attached to it, and they have position. So everybody runs that position, the rope stretches out. So that's our spot.
While waiting for the parade, they play card games, eat and drink, often meeting new people from all over the United States. She says a lot has changed with the parade over the years.
It's longer than it used to be. The route has changed, and you know, I don't know, it's just the crowd, of course, has changed. It's huge now. So it's always been big, but every year it seems like it gets larger, and especially on the weekends, it's even bigger.
And a bigger parade means more coverage from WSAV. She says they even had a run-in with News 3 in Lafayette Square.
I guess when we got moved over to here in 2001, we had the middle of the park, and we started making friends with WSAV, feeding them because they didn't have food back then, so we fed them. And then later on, they started taking this area, and we got booted out of our spot.
But they won back some of their spot after making friends with production manager Jerry Perlman.
Mr. Jerry and I, or my husband, made a gentleman's agreement for us to have our little corner of the world over there.
The family has even made it on our broadcast, and you can see our setup in several of their pictures.
Hey.
Hey, there we are. Sarah says as long as she is able, she will continue the tradition for years to come. Lisa even made it in the parade one year when she was attending Armstrong State University. She helped decorate her sorority Sigma Kappa's float.
That's me on the float. And that's when I was 21. I mean, I love watching the parade. I love seeing the bands from the high schools that we all went to. I love seeing the different floats. And of course, all the Irishmen are usually friends and family, so it's fun seeing them march by.
But their favorite part of the day is the tradition and the family and friends surrounding them.
Best friends. And my husband in the middle. He's my best friend too.
And if you see the McGalliard family, make sure you are appropriately dressed for the occasion.
It's a tradition. You get pinched if you're not wearing green. So.
Sarah Smith, WSAV News 3, on your side.
And luckily, WSAV is able to have this whole corner of Lafayette Square roped off for just us and, of course, a few hundred of our special guests here in the square. WSAV's drone operator, Jensen Bland, is acting as our eyes on the skies today, giving us a bird's eye view of all of the action.
I think there was a brief technical error with the drone, so we're going to get that sorted out because we got to make sure that's flying for the main event.
Yeah. Oh, listen, and there's so many people. I mean, just over the past few minutes, you see how much of a difference it makes with people as far as right here in the square.
Right. You saw the people that were faded back about a block, waiting to move in as we get closer to 10 o'clock.
They surely are. We have more coverage coming up here, folks, including a look at how other cities in the U.S. are celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Stay with us.
Welcome back. You're watching the Zero Savannah St. Patty's Day pre-parade show on WSAV.
Welcome back, everybody, to WSAV's live coverage. We're celebrating the 200th anniversary of the very first St. Patrick's Day parade in Savannah.
Yes, we are. And during that time, our tradition has become so well known that it's inspired other celebrations. WSAV's Christine Qualey shares the story of one city that took Savannah's parade and made it their own.
Scranton, Pennsylvania, and Savannah, Georgia. Two cities that are more than 800 miles away from one another. They don't have much in common on the surface, but are closely linked when it comes to one thing: their commitment to celebrating St. Patrick's Day. The story goes like this.
In 1961, we had a gentleman named Frank Foley who, honest to God, went down in 61 to Savannah to see your parade down there. But he liked everything that he saw in Savannah. And so conceptually, he wanted to bring, if you can believe this, Savannah, south of the Mason-Dixon line, back to Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Gary Duncan is the historian for the parade in Scranton. I caught up with him over Zoom, of course, because of the distance. But he tells me their parade has been going on for more than 60 years. And he'd like to see them reach the 200 mark like we have.
62 years, you say, geez, I got it done. And then I look at Savannah and I think, my God, 200 years, that's really getting it done.
And it seems the Scranton parade does look a lot like the one it was modeled after.
Everything we've kind of done here, probably if I was in Savannah Saturday to be part of your parade, I'd probably see a lot of similarities. We have a Grand Marshal. We have an honorary Grand Marshal. The floats are going to be things that we have in common. All of the social groups, all of, everybody's really here.
The spirit and the mission of the Savannah Parade bringing people together, has also become part of the fabric of Scranton celebrations.
You touch more people than you can imagine. You touch all of the shut-ins, all of the people that can do maybe nothing more than perhaps get to a window and look at the parade and watch it on television.
Duncan tells me all his hard work to put on a St. Patrick's Day parade each year pretty much boils down to just one thing.
But nothing beats seeing a mom and a dad holding their children's hands, and just, they're aglow.
Nothing beats people coming together for this big day, whether you're in Scranton or right here in the best place in the world, Savannah.
There's a lot of people here right now.
A fine place to be today. It's been really nice all morning. I got here just before dark, and
just before dark?
Dawn.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, Dawn.
Dawn,
I'm thinking, did you spend the night
Yeah, that's
here?
right. That's not allowed, Lindy.
I think if you could go back to my Facebook page at just about dawn, I'm singing.
Oh.
Something about the morning coming. I don't know. Maybe not. You can look if you want. But it's been nice. It actually has been really, really nice all morning long. Yes. We had the weather reports that were, during the week, had a little bit of a question about them. And, you always got to wonder when the parade is on a day other than the 17th, because we've had some experiences with that. But look at this. The sun's out.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
And we will talk more about that when we come back. We're going to take a brief break, and we're going to take a closer look at how St. Patrick's Day impacts our local businesses. We hear from one local business owner right after the break. Stay with us.
Welcome back. You're watching the Zero Savannah St. Patty's Day pre-parade show on WSAV.
And top of the morning to you. Welcome back to WSAV's St. Patrick's Day special. Of course, we have Lindy Brannett here for our color commentating this year. But, Saints and Shamrocks on Bull Street is an Irish Catholic store, and they have been gearing up for today months in advance.
And our WSAV's Nakia Harris talked with the owner about what a monumental task that is.
Saints and Shamrocks, located in Savannah, sits on Bull Street, a place where visitors and locals look to purchase St. Patrick's merchandise.
Good afternoon, Saints and Shamrocks.
You might recognize this area as the endpoint of the annual St. Patrick's Day Parade, giving employees a clear view of the festivities. But there's also a beginning to the shop's history. News 3 spoke to Hope Eberwine, owner of Saints and Shamrocks, about her start.
So Saints and Shamrocks is 32 years old last month, and we serve our Irish and Catholic community. So I bought it from my friend Jean when she retired, so I've been the owner for 14 years now, almost 15.
The store draws in large numbers during the springtime.
We were really busy last weekend. We'll be very, very busy the day before because people are in town, they're checked in, they're ready to go the day of the parade.
To gear up for the celebration, there's planning, prepping, and executing.
We're always about 75% ready because that's what we do and who we are. So when it gets to be January, I'm bumping up inventory on certain things. I design a lot of my own t-shirts, and I've got a screen printer who works with me.
Think of it as Savannah's Black Friday for businesses.
St. Patrick's Day weekend is important for a store like ours because it floats us. That money goes into savings. That's not extra money. That helps us during January or August or September when it's a little bit tighter times during those months, not quite as busy. So that money is important for us to put aside.
Hope says she's excited for the 200th parade anniversary.
I'm excited for two reasons. I'm excited to share it with my family and friends, and I'm very excited for the parade committee. They have worked so tirelessly for the past 364 days to give us the most fantastic parade in the country as far as I'm concerned. And so on their behalf, I am thrilled to join them in celebrating our St. Patrick's Day parade.
And like always, Hope gets to look out of her shop's window to enjoy the view of the parade. But this year, she'll get to watch an old high school friend lead the parade as well. Nakia Harris, WSAV News 3. On your side.
That was News 3's Nakia Harris reporting. Now, let's talk about some numbers. According to the Associated Press, more than 18,000 hotel rooms in Savannah and the surrounding areas are sold out for this weekend. The city has also brought in more than 320 portable toilets, thank goodness, right? And police officials also tell News 3 that 300 officers are working the entire parade route with another 150 officers stationed in the City Market area and in the River Street area. And about those porta potties, please use them.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Please use
well,
them.
and that's, hopefully they have enough, because sometimes by the end of the day, they're unusable.
Well, some folks have solved that on their own. They got their own porta potties set up in a parking space at several several places around town.
That's a good idea.
That's the way to do it. Okay, y'all, we are only about 10 minutes away. You hear the sirens behind us there. Everybody's getting in position. We're going to take you to an Irish pub, though, right when we come back, because we got to touch base with those folks before we get this party started.
Welcome back. You're watching the Zero Savannah St. Paddy's Day pre-parade show on WSAV.
And welcome back to WSAV St. Patrick's Day special. Savannah's Irish heritage dates all the way back hundreds and hundreds of years. Irish pubs, though, are a big part of that history as well, from Ireland all the way to Savannah.
That's right, Kim. And our Ben Katko had the tough assignment of sitting down and pouring a pint and learning more about this awesome history.
Every year around this time, Savannah celebrates centuries of its storied Irish history dating back hundreds of years.
We're big on just Irish culture itself, year round. McDonough's, St. Patrick's, they kind of go hand in hand.
McDonough's is part of that history. Situated along Drayton Street, the pub has been here nearly 40 years. The walls packed with the bar's history, and it's one of the last of a handful of pubs of its kind in the city.
It's something special. Our father started this thing up about 37 years ago. Me and my sister, our brother took it over about, I'd say, 6 years ago now. With that being said, seeing Kevin Barry's close a couple years ago was heartbreaking for a lot of folks in the town. Have we picked up a few of their customer base? Sure, but are we looking to do more to extend the heritage, the Irish culture? Of course we are.
These places are more than just a pint of artfully poured Guinness or a sip of Irish whiskey. They're a place of camaraderie and community, from Ireland to the hostess city.
We've got folks who come all the way from New York, Chicago, Florida, California, Philadelphia. And each and every year they come to see us. And, that is something special.
Irish pubs themselves have a long history, and long may not be the best word to explain just how long they've been around. Some still in existence today date back as far as about 1000 AD. A few drops of that heritage ingrained in Savannah's history.
One thing that we make sure to do for each and every person in Savannah who lives here as well as visits is we want to make sure that they have that experience.
And McDonough's is ready to tip the tap handle again to pour another round to celebrate the city.
With this year coming up being the 200th anniversary, it's something special, I think, for everyone in the city.
Okay, so you're right, Ben Senger. Ben Katko really did have the toughest job.
Who made these assignments?
Who did that? Why couldn't we be there? We're going to shift from this portion of our special to our actual parade coverage in just a bit. But Lindy, we want to give you the honors of kind of wrapping this thing up and taking us to the next part.
Well, you're taking a risk, No, but either way.
Do we have a 20-second delay?
We'll kill all that time. Well, I didn't mean that. I certainly would fill up all the time, though.
Yes.
But thank you for the opportunity to be with you and share a little bit of this morning and a little bit of what downtown Savannah is like, even away from the parade. It's just a beautiful place to be, and I don't think we've had a better start to the day. Weather-wise, it's gorgeous out here.
It is gorgeous. And so with that...
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Damien Shields from Dublin City, Ireland. I am a true, authentic Irishman here in Savannah, the hostess city of the South and the jewel of George's Eye, where today we celebrate the 200th St. Patrick's Day Parade in a city that has the heartbeat of Ireland pumping for over 300 years. As we say in Ireland, Lá Éile Pádraig Hunadit, which means Happy St. Patrick's Day. So wherever you are in the world, raise a glass, dance a little, tell a bad joke and sing a song, and raise a glass in honor of St. Patrick, the patron saint of the greatest little country that was ever invented, to Ireland. Happy St. Patrick's Day. And as we say in Ireland, Lá é le Pádraig Honna Dit, which means Happy St. Patrick's Day. Sláinte to you all. Oh, Denny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the flowers are falling. 'Tis you, must go and I must bide. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, when all the valleys hushed and white with snow. I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, I love you so. But when you come, when the flowers are dying, if I am dead and dead I well may be, you'll come and find the place where I am lying, and kneel and pray and Ave there for me, and I shall hear those soft you tread above me, and on my grave the warmer, sweeter be, for you will bend and tell me that you love me, and I shall sleep in peace until you come to me, and I shall hear those soft you tread above me, and on my grave the warmer, sweeter be, for you will bend and tell me that you love me, and I will sleep in peace until you come to me, and I will sleep in peace until you come to me.
And I'm Ben Senger. We're so glad you're with us for WSAV's special live coverage. It's the 200th anniversary of the very first public parade. That was amazing, sir. How do you feel about putting that together? You put your own spin on the clap.
We did. Danny Boy is a very old story. It's a sad song, but it's one of those Irish kind of wherewithal songs that everybody knows around the world.
You're right here.
So
Yes,
it was fun to do, and I thank David from WSAV for asking me to do it. It was a lot of fun, and Lucas Morgan on piano, and my wife Gina, who helped make the song a lot better.
I'm glad you helped remember to thank her, because people make that mistake.
And apparently I need to share the mic with you because my mic is not working, okay? But you know what? Aside from the song, you look fantastic.
I got this from Elvis's wardrobe. Thank you, Elvis Presley.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. Sláinte.
We appreciate you. Thank you so much, sir. Let's take you through some of the stuff we expect to see today. It's going to be a big show. Now, the Rockland County Emerald Society from Rockland County, New York, includes a band made up of police officers from the New York metro area. They've been marching in the Savannah St. Patrick's Day Parade for 16 years. They are one of a dozen pipe and drum bands that will be marching today. We even got a pipe and drum group from Limerick, Ireland.
That's right. And if you think a dozen pipe bands, every branch of our armed forces will be joining us. That's more than 2 1,000 Coast Guard airmen, soldiers, seamen, and Marines. You can bet that we'll be seeing a big showing from the 3rd ID today.
You know it will. And get this, all-time record, 41 bands to take part in our parade today, including the Virginia Tech Heidi Tidies.
Woo, Heidi Tidies.
The Savannah State Marching Tigers, and of course the Jenkins Warriors. 41 bands.
Listen. Let me say Jenkins High School. You know that's my alma mater, yes. Ben Senger. And you know, I mentioned Damien's outfit because he was all decked up. But let's give a round of applause, looking dapper and debonair today. Well, I'd say I was saying that so that you can pay attention to my shiny shoes today. Okay, so again, Ben Senger, today it's all about folks here in Savannah, Georgia, wearing green, faith, family, and fun, Irish tradition.
Yes, and we have a huge
yes, we
crowd
do.
today. So here's what we've been looking forward to also. You know, the return of the Budweiser Clydesdales to Savannah. First time since 2018. They've always been a fan favorite. Beautiful Mighty Horses have been making appearances all over the area this week. We can't wait to see them in person. I can't wait for the sound, because really when they've been around town, it's just been them sort of in their stables, and now we're going to hear them in all their glory.
Well, they were right across the street from us,
yeah, they were.
in Daffin Park, right at the stadium, and we did not have a chance to see them.
No.
I mean, not in person, not us, but of course our news crew did. Now, our Georgia Southern Eagles are back this year. You know, that's also my alma mater. Shout out to Georgia Southern. And did you know that you can study abroad now? Yes.
In Wexford?
Yes.
Yes.
Wexford, on the Georgia Southern campus in Wexford County, Ireland. So we're going to hear more about that, of course, with Dr. Keeley when he joins us at the desk. It's going to be really
fascinating stuff. I love that relationship. Okay, so maybe you can go for that PhD. All right, so here's the one that keeps everyone on their toes. The Ailey Shriners will be out in full force today. It's what's called a St. Patrick's Day variety show. I mean, can you imagine they're going to be sailing that ship through here? It's always a good time.
Who doesn't love the Shriners? Yeah. And, you know, my favorite part about that, I mean, of course, because they, do this for a great cause, and we love them for what they do for the children in our community. But I love the belly dancer.
Oh, yes. That's a
classic. You got to kiss the belly.
It's a classic. Okay, we've got cops. We've got cops. Okay. Live TV, folks. We've got cops. Now, I don't think there's any cause for alarm. I think they just do that to get some VIPs to the head of the parade route, because they don't want to delay the parade. That would be a sin on this day, would it not?
So you have the adjutants who are moving this parade along,
right.
And they do not want you to stop the parade at all, because we have, more than 300 entries this year.
It's going to be amazing. This broadcast is going to be about 16 hours long. So
we're ready for it. We have tents, we have food, we have drinks, right?
I mean, we're prepared.
We are prepared.
Thank goodness.
Well, you know what? We want to talk about some other people here in our community, Savannah's home, Bethesda Academy football team. I think we need to. Now, we replaced my mic, but now I need to share the mic with you again. But so the Bethesda Academy football team, fresh off a dramatic state championship win.
Congrats to them.
Right?
And I love their campus. It's so beautiful. Now, we'll see another one of our Savannah St. Patrick's Day parade stalwarts. My family loves these guys. We saw them in person at the Crab Shack earlier in the season here. The Junkanoo Band from the Nassau, Bahamas, marching for the Crab Shack. Their show's so great.
Oh, I love them every year. They bring the excitement, they bring the music, they bring the flavor to the parade. And you better bet that people are going to give away some kisses this year. Get your red lipstick ready for the Benedictine cadets. Although it is frowned upon to kiss the soldiers, it's St. Patrick's Day and people do what they're going to do.
Right. They're going to, I already saw, the funny thing is I saw several cadets on my walk into the square today, and they already were adorned. That was 7:30 in the morning. So literally thousands will join the march of the Irish families representing generations of Savannahans. And we hope we get to see the green goat.
Oh, the green goat.
There's a green goat.
There's a green goat. Okay. Well, everything's green today. I mean, we have people, we have pets, we have food. Did you get any green grits this year?
I haven't seen any of that. Hopefully they'll actually remember to feed us this year, because, we're kind of on the desk for quite some time.
And all we're left with is the garnish and maybe a couple of bottles of water. But, okay, so did you partake in any green beer?
You know, I haven't had a green beer yet, and I'm gonna abstain for just a little bit.
At least until after the.
At least until, or you know, maybe the tail out.
And you know, when we talk about indulging on today, because a lot of people will be, and you know, this is live TV, so folks are just coming through our shots. Hello, everyone. But when we talk about indulging, we want you to indulge responsibly. Of course, have fun, but if you're drinking, please do not drive. Don't get behind the wheel. AAA is out there with their Tow-to-Go program to help you get to your home safely, you and your car within a 10-mile radius for free for members and non-members.
And if you act up today, the fines are quite large. So we'll just leave it there. It's like, it's a ticket you're going to remember. Now, of course, the best local TV station in the game will be riding in the parade once again. So we will we'll catch up with the WSAV team as they are marching through.
And you know, I told you earlier, can I get on the float one year? Can I get on
She's making a public plea.
Yes, I'm making a public plea. For decades, I've sat at the desk, and I've enjoyed it here in Lafayette Square. It's been fun talking to people and seeing all the things that happen with this production. But one year, I just want to be able to stand on the float and wave to everybody.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe next year we're going to make that happen for Kim. Well, let's talk about this year, though. We want you to stay with us. The 200th anniversary of Savannah's St. Patrick's Day Parade is just moments away. Stay with us for the big show.